we're back another Saturday. How y'all doing over in Texas and over in
Ooh,
West Chatham?
how's everybody?
All is well. All is well. It's a little rainy on this side of the world, and hopefully our folks in Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas are doing well. I know there was a hurricane going, so
It's
you
beautiful
know,
over here. It's just hot as hell. Yeah. But that's the way it is in Texas. We don't get fall until midwinter.
I know
Um,
that's right. I know that's right. So today, you all, the topic today. I know we are all old enough to know how fear and all of that kind of creates problems, and how public leaders and politicians and public figures, for that matter, kind of get out here and use all types of tactics. And I know, Chandra, today you're leading in the conversation.
I
So
know that's why
help
I'm
us to
not
kind of walk that
understanding why
path.
you talking.
What's that?
Okay. I
Yeah.
said that's why I'm not understanding why you talking.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
No. No. She's using fear. She's
No,
using fear. I'm gonna get them
no.
Jamal Touré because you're using fear.
So guys, you know how when for centuries, when the main group wants to otherize or villainize a minority group, all they have to do is give a picture of what the minority group is. So we were the first minority group into this country forcibly. So when we came out of slavery, the first things that they started doing to us is giving us labels. We were criminals. We were women were overly sexualized, so it didn't matter whether white men raped us. We were lazy. It they didn't want us in their neighborhoods because and they made the reason because your property values would go down. So over the centuries they made a case for black hate, you know and I don't know if you guys saw a um it was a commercial. The Republicans ran a commercial, and it purposefully had black people in the commercial saying, "This is how your your neighborhoods are going to look under another administration if you don't choose the Trump administration." And it had a whole lot of black people overrunning the suburbs. Okay. So, but we have come to, I guess, just accept, just being otherized, you know. But in 2014, it became other people being otherized. So the case that they made for Mexicans was the Mexicans were coming here, they're rapists and they're drug dealers and they're the worst of the worst. So then we started, and they're illegals. All of them are illegals. None of them have come here legally, you know. So then we start looking at, uh, Mexicans, all Mexicans, as being illegal drunks, drug dealers, criminals. And when are they going to rape me? And, being a survivor of rape, I'm on high alert, you know.
Mhm.
And we need to start talking about this because they are doing more damage to more and more immigrants by way of, once you put that in somebody's mind, you know, put it in somebody's mind. And I don't care if it never happened to you. If you keep saying that RG stole my pocketbook one time and he's a thief and he's a this, and even if you never met RG, the first time you meet RG, the first thing you're going to think about is RG is a thief.
Mm-hmm.
Make it make sense.
Well,
Well,
perception unchallenged becomes reality. You have to challenge those perceptions, and if you don't, then to some people it becomes reality. And that's for mostly small. Well, it's for big things too, but people can see the bigger things because they have a relationship outside of what the perception is. And sometimes we group and generalize everything, like you said, and it's not good that we do that. But that's how this society runs. You got fads, and you have trends, and everything that people follow. Everybody want to do what the other people are doing. So it's an issue, and I don't know how you tackle that without challenging it. The only way that you can combat that is to challenge it. That's it.
well, Chandra, I have a video I want to play for a minute. But what you're speaking on is fear. And we talked offline about this topic. And one of the things that I have studied, even in the space of diversity, equity, and inclusion, is when you stoke fear, people become resistant to whatever the ideal is. And so, like now in South Carolina, diversity, equity, and inclusion is a bad thing. Talking about slavery is a bad thing. Immigrants are bad things. But let's be real about it, right? Um, let's be real about it. When it came to, hold on, let me take this out. When it came to the founding of America, quote unquote, you know, let's talk about how a white man called Christopher Columbus, whatever he was, brought his homeboys over, killed the natives, took their land, and brought black folk over here. And then all of a sudden it became, oh, we were making this a profitable opportunity for them. No. And so it even bothers me now how, certain campaigns will talk about, the rapists or killers. Well, your people are rapists and killers. They learned it from the best, right? And so it's interesting to me how people don't think about the rhetoric when they use it. But let me just play this only just to kind of stoke an ideology around or kind of expand the conversation. This guy's talking about that whole thing of politics of fear. Hold on, let me go play.
Which great political leader was it who said the only thing we have to fear is fear itself? Well, you can Google later, but we know for certain it was not Stephen Harper. He loves to remind us over and over again that danger is lapping at our shores. And these days, there's a lot of things to be afraid of. The government and the media are constantly telling us that terrorism is at the top of that list. And so it should be. That is just the tip of the iceberg. You want to go down the fear road, there's a lot of things we should be afraid of. Danger is not lapping at our shores, it's in the bathroom. Do you have any idea how many bad things can happen to you in the bathroom? People die in there every year, hundreds of them. I, for one, I would welcome it if from now on in every speech the Prime Minister gave, he would go on at length about the dangers of slip and fall. And any discussion about the economy should be met with tough talk on how to keep us safe in the bathroom. And we need new powers, new laws, forcing Canadians to use those rubber bath mats. And there is no time to debate these laws. And obviously, the state will need new powers to enter the bathroom. If Peter MacKay or Jason Kenney wants in your toilet, upstairs or down, that is a small price to pay. And while we're on the subject, do you have any idea how many Canadians are killed every year in the summer doing summer things? It is our deadliest season, and yet we are encouraged to go outdoors. That needs a rethink. If you go online and you research all the frightening things in this world, you will realize Stephen Harper is right. We have every reason to be afraid. But if we give in to that fear, we would never debate a bill, go outdoors, or take a shower again.
And so while he was poking fun at it, I kind of what it did for me, that whole conversation in satire, was really just saying, you know what? If we really take the time, I think Chandra hit on this earlier, and research the stuff and stop just believing what people say. And so, for example, recently I know Trump talked about people eating cats and dogs, and like you said, Chandra, people don't do the research; they just start believing that foolishness.
Yeah, and sharing the I've had so many black men. It's not the black women, but it's the black men that shared the video. Oh yeah, Sean, and they really believe this. They really believe that, you know, it's this mass Venezuelan mob that has taken over this city in Colorado, you know. But and when I say, well, why aren't they talking about this on MSNBC or CNN? Oh, the mass media don't want y'all to know. That's why. You know, I said, well, why aren't they talking about you know, these pets being, you know, kidnapped and eaten, you know, on you know, regular in regular news? Oh, because, you know, they just don't want y'all to know. They don't want y'all to know that your kids can now decide, you know, that they want a sex change, and they could just, you know, the counselor can take them to go and get a sex change. People, these things that you guys are, I mean, they have them suspicious of LGBTQ. They have them suspicious of every Venezuelan. They have them suspicious of now the Haitians. And they don't understand that growing up as a Black person in America, you became a target just because you were Black. Not because you did anything. My son runs a 50-50 chance of being killed, not because he did anything, but because he was stopped by a police. Why? Because he's Black, and their sensories go up because he was villainized at birth. You know, so now you have all of these bomb threats, you know, going on, and because all it takes is one crazy to believe the stuff that's coming out of these idiots' mouths, and then you have mass shootings in grocery stores where Black people shop, or where Haitians shop. You know, a couple of years ago when the Asian people, who knows a Chinese person from a Japanese person, or somebody from Thailand? Can you tell the difference? All of them was getting beat downs about 2 to 3 years ago, because he was the one that put it in our head that we should be afraid of Asian people. And just because it wasn't going on with us didn't mean that we should just turn a blind eye to it.
Little Charlie.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, let's step away for a message, y'all, and we'll be right back. Hey, she bringing up some good points, but we'll be right back. Hold tight, you all.
I'm Patty Hewitt, and I'm worried about our future.
Last one.
I think about my grandkids and the belief that they deserve every opportunity. And what you deserve, what coastal Georgia deserves, is someone who cares more about their community than about corporate profits and big pharma.
I'll see you later.
All right, thank you. Small business owners and hardworking Georgians are the heart of our community.
Have a good day.
Not CEOs, not lobbyists, not shareholders, but who's taking care of them? It's time to ask yourself, what do you want from your government? This is our year to stand up against what we know is wrong. No more DC politicians invading our home life. No more racism that kills dreams and spreads violence. And no more corporate greed at the expense of workers' rights and our environment.
So what would be the most meaningful help to you?
I've spent the last 8 years working behind the scenes, mobilizing our communities for positive change. And while that is really important work, I can't stand by and allow the same tired politicians to run this country, the same ones who've neglected the real needs of Georgians. I'm ready to take our seat in Congress so I can fight for you and your families.
I vote for you.
Thank you, my darling. I love you. This isn't about party lines. This is about voting for a better future for more Georgians. Enough is enough.
Need your garments cleaned with care and with a professional touch? Then bring them to One Price Cleaners in Garden City at the Old Farmers Market on Highway 80. Service you can count on.
Senator Obama, you look just outside where we are tonight. They're building 40,000 new hotel rooms in this city. National security is ever far from their minds in Las Vegas either. You are fond of saying you won't use 9/11 as a kind of hook. Do you think some of that goes on in both parties?
Well, I think there's no doubt that we've been dominated by a politics of fear since 9/11. Now, some of that's understandable. We have real enemies out there. The tragedy in New York was a trauma to the country that it is going to take a long time for us to work out. And Senator Clinton did good work in terms of helping the city recover. But I have to say that when Senator Clinton uses the specter of a terrorist attack with a new prime minister during a campaign, I think that is part and parcel with what we've seen, the use of the fear of terrorism in scoring political points. And I think that's a mistake. Now, I don't want to perpetuate that. I think that's part of why we ended up going into Iraq and made a big strategic error that has made us less safe. Resources that could have been spent on Homeland Security have been spent in.
So what I played that clip for you all is get your reaction, one, but two is now you see when politics of fear, when fear becomes an issue and it drives this whole idea of using resources, and it creates this knee-jerk reaction. So, Chandra, I know you had the last hit at it. We're gonna let Julius kind of have a hit at his reaction on that.
Well, I wanted to address what Sandra said. Sometimes those guys were partly right in what they were telling you. Sometimes when it affects our community, they don't want you to know until it's out of control. They don't want you to know until enough harm has been done. They don't want you to know until it's damaged to the point where you have to go in with this large force with all of the media so they can make it even worse on us. Take Chicago, for instance. You don't see a whole lot every day on the news about that, but it's the number one killing field in the country.
But it depends on where you live, Julius, because even though y'all might not be seeing what's going on in Chicago,
we see it, but I'm sure that I'm sure in Houston they're not showing y'all every day what they're doing in Chicago.
Well, but we get their news.
We do,
is what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is if things were as bad, if these Venezuelans were just, if they were just overrunning and had taken up arms in a specific place, they would have highlighted this because, we would have known by now. We really would have known by now.
Oh, but you're saying that was just that was totally fake?
It is not true.
Yes, it is. Yes, they did show that they did take over apartment complex, but it wasn't that bad. It wasn't fake. It was true. And several people have reported that they have gone in because of the slum lords that the people won't fix the building and all. So they took over the building. It is true.
The Hell's Angels didn't
Yeah,
have
Take a
to
look.
come there.
Take a look at this.
The Hell's Angels was that part was not.
Y'all
Okay.
take a look at Natalie's comment. And let's kind of, I think she's offering something here too regarding immigration. Why is the problem brown-skinned immigrants? What about the thousands of Ukrainians who were welcome here with open arms and giving out Social Security money? But they are crickets. Cricket immigrants are immigrants, right?
Exactly. And see, the lighter and brighter they are, you know, we should not be making distinctions. And when they villainize, you notice that they're villainizing the darker, you know, immigrants, the ones that can't just be what we used to call passable, you know. So they villainize them. It's they, when Trump, when he was in office, called African countries shithole countries, you know, and many of those countries are not. Nigeria is a very functional country, you know, but they won't tell you things like that. The
Well,
your public figures is paramount because their actions and
while
choices.
you're reading that, Chandra, let me offer a comment to that. I think, well, here's the deal. We all know it's no secret that this nation was built upon principles of white Anglo-Saxon Protestant white males. We get it, okay? That's why you often hear me say we are existing in a country where the systems are not made for us. We are here by design to do what we are asked to do, which is pick cotton, do labor, be quiet. Now it's go to jail, be quiet, pay fines, be in poverty. That's what our role is as a community. When you resist that, you create this whole discomfort and shift. And so now, how does a country that wasn't designed for these people adjust to accept these people? Let me use Atlanta, for example. How many of y'all think folk back in the day thought Atlanta would be a black Mecca? One of the most powerful, economically strong international cities you know of. That wasn't supposed to happen. And so why would I be happy with you brown folk who weren't supposed to escape that system? Why would I be happy? Because, you know, the light skin was in the house. They were getting along. Y'all over here resisting and creating change. Why would I be happy?
That is true. You know, I mean, but I believe that in order for them to hold power, to hold on to power, they have to implant fear. And if you notice, they're not putting out policy. I mean, I watched the debate from the other night twice because I wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything, you know, from the laughter from the first time. You know, I was laughing so hard the first time that I said, let me listen to this again and make some notes. But I did not miss policy. I was waiting on some policy to come out of what. Tell me what besides you know, I'm going to do a mass deportation. Tell me besides that, what are you going to do for me? For people that in my tax bracket that are struggling just like me, you know, and I did not get any substance. All I got was fear mongering,
Right.
You know, and if that's what y'all want to run on, if that's what you want to vote for, somebody that's just going to scare you about what's under the bed or what could be in the closet and stuff like that, you're not getting the essence of what we need as a leader.
Sandra, you also have to realize that that fear that type of fear brings on what? What do you institute that for? You institute it so you can what? Control, keep power.
Mm-hmm.
It's control. You want to control people and you want to have power. The biggest control mechanism ever created was what? Religion.
Mm-hmm. Well, no,
Religion.
I don't know.
Religion. It controls all of you. It controls every one of you Christian fearing people now in this world. They got you thinking that Jesus up in the sky is going to come back and he's going to do something to you if you don't do what you're supposed to do. Yes, there is a God, but you got to realize that you've been given this myth of some being up in the sky that's going to come back and do something to you if you don't do right. This control. It is control. They control you that way. You everybody knows that there is a God. We could not be communicating like this, talking and doing all the things we're doing if there weren't. There is a God, but you have to have that type of understanding in your head yourself to understand where God is. You know, he ain't up in
Where's God?
And God and the devil ain't down in the ground like we've been taught all our life. That was control. That was our grandparents telling us we're going down in the ground to hell and we're going to burn in hell in the ground. And that you're going up to heaven in the sky. We say that right now today, especially black people. We're going up to heaven in the sky when we leave this earth.
I've never said that.
And everybody going to heaven. Even the ones that was ruthless killers. And, we know he in heaven watching over us now. You know damn well he was the scum of the fucking earth. And you tell me he up in heaven. Come on.
I've never said that because I truly don't know where heaven is, but I just know that heaven is a peaceful place. Wherever it is, it's a peaceful place.
I would hope that it is.
You know, but in the end, I also believe that I believe that God is, you know, and I believe that I have to believe in God because
we're talking about control right now. So that's a subject that we could have on a subject.
We need to have that topic.
Well, let me offer this clip.
One Saturday.
Let me play this clip real quick and let's kind of open it up real quick. What he's talking about
to me is. And this is my perspective only. This perspective is probably going to irritate a lot of people who are very into the religions. Religion for me has always been, I guess, a fear and control structure with a lot of shame and greed thrown in there. In my opinion, religion is the longest running and most successful business model out there. And if you think about it, the product that they're selling you is it's salvation, it's eternal life, it's eternal bliss, whatever religion you're in or that you're thinking about. That's the product that you're looking to acquire. But you can never acquire it in the present moment, in the day that you're in or in the month that you're in. It's a product that's out there in the future. You're only going to acquire that product when you die. And you're constantly told by religion that it's really tough to get there and you might not get there. And the only way you can get there is to come back to church on a regular basis. And you're imperfect. There's something wrong with you. You've broken some rules. The way you think isn't the right way to think. And in order to get to that end goal of, salvation, that product that you want, you have to come back and you have to be taught a lesson again and again, because you haven't done enough in your life. You haven't done a good enough job at following the rules. So you've been a bad person. You need to repent. You need to come back. You need to learn your lesson again. And by the way, you need to pay your tithes. You need to, fill the coffers of the church while you're at it. And also very monopolistic as well. So you think about it, any given religion There's always this viewpoint that every other religion, every other view on spirituality, on different topics is wrong. So if you're Christian, you're told, hey, don't go shopping outside of this store. We've got the best products. These are the original products. Don't go out there and go shopping at the other stores. Don't even go look at what they have. Don't investigate Hinduism, Buddhism, Islam, whatever it is. And every religion has that viewpoint, that somebody else is the infidel, somebody else is off base, that they're not true believers. So there's this monopolistic idea too. It's the most successful business model, in my opinion. It keeps people coming back. It's a subscription-based model. You have to keep coming back again and again because you're not perfect. You want this thing at the end of the road, that product, that salvation, and you need to keep coming back and pay your dues in one way or another.
RG, I really respect you as a person and I respect you as a host, but you cannot let Julius cause you to be a squirrel, okay?
Where are you getting? I don't understand your evidence.
Because the topic for today has nothing to do with that you just played.
Yes, it does. We're talking about the use of fear to control people.
Nothing to do.
Religion is used to
let me explain,
No,
Sandra. You asked a question.
I mean,
explain.
One of the things we've got to do that I do very well. This is not my number one skill set. I look at both sides of an argument. I am Christian. I grew up Catholic. I subscribe to those values. But at the reality, there is no mythical white man with hair in the sky saying, oh, you're now saved because you did all these things. If that were the case, then how the hell did millionaires get into heaven? If that's the case, how did Hitler maybe get in heaven? But doesn't that same Bible that we look at say that God forgives all sins? Oh, okay. So let's not play the game. We got to look at things on both sides of the coin. Religion in the Black community has been used as a fear piece to control Where did it come from? Christianity came from the slave masters. That's where the word master comes from in the Bible. But nobody wants to investigate it. So we can't sit here because we subscribe to it, ignore the fact that the reality of Christianity came when white people said, y'all are going to worship the master because the master's white. That's the reality.
And then the hardest person
Jamal
is a Christian anyway. Go ahead, Jamal.
Jamal, the topic for today, since you're coming in, is how stereotypes and ideologies can be dangerous when they are spoken, and how they're dangerous to the target community, and how what is going on right now with the Haitians being the target community right now and all ideologies. It had nothing to do with religion, sir.
We're not talking about religion. We're talking
okay,
about
that's
fear.
what I'm not talking about.
We're talking about control of fear.
You played, yes, Erica Hartnett. The topic for today is how stereotypes and ideologies are dangerous to communities when they are spoken, when they are applied. And we as Black people should know them best because they have been applied to us since we were freed as, former slaves during Jim Crow.
Free.
I mean, so Jamal, welcome to the conversation.
Free.
And you're on mute. And
no, I'm not muting.
Thank you for letting me catch you up.
Free. We're free.
Well, what I say, it's all propaganda, and that's what people do. It's propaganda. You have propaganda, and you have economic propaganda, educational propaganda, religious propaganda. You have social propaganda. All of it's propaganda. And to my sister, what you're saying, yes, and they'll use that propaganda against a certain group of people, and they use it against a group of people, and then guess what? You have people, minions of them, and people who don't think, they didn't follow it, and then they go and do the harm caused to other people, that targeted group, as just like you said. And but again, it's propaganda, and sometimes what we got to do, and one thing I tell folks, we got to be intelligent. We got, and when I'm saying intelligent, I'm just using your mind, and not just falling for it, and using your logic. Because again, like I tell folks this, racism and discrimination is illogical. Racism and discrimination are both illogical. You can't try to figure out, the logic behind it. But then, I'm like saying, so there's no logic with regards to that. They tell you that, black people are evil, but black women got raped. Black people are not this, but then black people are still utilized. You have, even with regards to sports, we talk about how awful black people are, but then you have people cheering on and buying the gear from Kobe, from LeBron, and, Aaron Judge. They buying all the stuff. So again, if they are so evil, you don't buy the stuff. You don't buy the stuff, if you're not a satanic worshiper, you don't buy satanic stuff if you are opposed to satanic worshiping. So, yeah. So I guess I can throw this out there. One of the spiritualities that gets bashed by Western people in particular is voodoo. Voodoo, or people call it voodoo. People bash it, but again, it's propaganda. But then now to share this with you, if you go to certain places, I would say in the Caribbean, in South America, and also in Africa in particular, if you notice something, some of the Catholic churches there, built on the sites that were voodoo sites, spiritual sites, and they build it right there. But then the propaganda tells you, oh no, but here go this place that they view as being a spiritual place that once was a voodoo place, but now you have a Catholic cathedral church or something right there. So again, like I say, the propaganda is illogical, the racism is illogical, all of it. But then we gotta be intelligent enough not to fall for it.
Yes.
Well, get your things, Jamal. Control. I agree with to some degree, because in every society you have to have controls. The police is a control mechanism. So you have to have the police, or you're going to have chaos. So you have to have some fear. You have to fear God to understand that you must conduct yourselves in a way that there won't be chaos, so you won't be misbehaving. So control to some degree is good, but also control to some degree is bad. It's all according to what type it is. If you're trying to control a certain segment instead of controlling the whole populace, then that's something different. If you're trying to control a certain people so that you can have power just over them, and everybody can have power just over them, then that's wrong.
Yeah, and I think that it's all a thing of making. I mean, who wouldn't hate somebody that ate my dog or ate any dog or cat? And that is slipping something that is near and dear into the mindset of a whole 67 million people.
But Sandra, shouldn't they hate all Koreans then? Don't they eat dog, Kobe? No, serious. Think about it. Shouldn't you hate? Hold on. Shouldn't you hate all people who eat cows? If I got a favorite cow, shouldn't you hate all people that eat chicken? Because I love my chickens and I don't kill them. I mean, think about it. Hell, they eat dogs and they've been eating cats forever.
First of all, we have. I own a dog, and we in America, we have our cats and dogs as pets. So, and bunnies and stuff like that. We own our they're our pets.
Yeah, that's PETA.
But
y'all love pets. What's your dog name?
Nola.
And so if it was no food on earth, What the hell you think me, Jamal, and Robert gonna eat? We're
No.
gonna eat no flag.
I'm not eating
But-
no duck, man.
But if I went to, if I used to own a rabbit, but if I went to Jamaica, I know that they eat rabbits in Jamaica, you know, and I mean, I've eaten rabbit before, you know, but I wouldn't eat my rabbit.
Right.
So that's the thing, you know, but I would not villainize my friend that comes from Jamaica because they eat rabbit over there, you know, but what they sought to do with putting that foolishness out there, and JD Vance said it was not you know, yeah, it was not credible, but I'm just gonna put it out there, you know, because it was something that they could just otherize and dehumanize.
Well, what they do is try to divide. They're coming to every community to try to plant division so that they can get them to think that they're on their side. And anybody that falls for that is just a damn fool.
Yeah, but you're gonna have those damn fools, just like the boy that sat up in that what was his name? That sat up in that church in South Carolina.
Jalen Root.
Yeah. And then after, I mean, we're the most, they say that we're the most violent, but we're the most welcoming people. We'll welcome anybody. And after service, after we done prayed for your scum bucket behind, you kill us, you know. And that is what planting those type of seeds into a mind of an idiot does. So we cannot take it for granted that, oh, well, you know, I mean, you could be setting a whole group of people up to get killed from what you think is just, that was just Trump being Trump. No, we have to stop this foolishness and say that it's wrong.
Well, the thing is, it's been going on for decades, and that doesn't make it right. I agree with you. It's bad on both sides. I'm not going to sit here and act like it's not done on both sides. And it's done in Congress, it's done in the White House. It's just not good because, like you said, what you do sometimes is you stoke a fire, and when that fire is burning and the building's burning down, then we all want to act like we don't know what just happened. That irritates the hell out of me. When we sit here and watch it and we see it going on, the people doing it, then all of a sudden, oh my God, I don't know what just happened. Yes, you do. So how do we get there? I don't know. But I do think this whole idea of, I wish people, especially who are taking the oath of being public leaders, politicians, whatever, would be a little more responsible about their rhetoric. And the people who support them would be holding them responsible for their rhetoric and their lies. And we see it every day locally. You know, you get these people making these promises or not being honest or doing behind the scene deals, but act like they're above board. And that's just not right. And so it's this big layer of foolishness that I totally agree. We got to get a hold on it because it's only making things worse.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I don't know how low we have sunk, you know, as a people, as community. I thought that things would get better as, you know, we got more education and, you know, we started venturing out into different neighborhoods, but it just seems like, you know, we've become more separate in our, you know, still in this, you know, in communities with different people, but we've become just as separated in the communities with different people.
Yep.
Because I mean, I live next to the Rainbow Coalition. I mean, I have Africans, I have Mexicans, I have Chinese people, all on the same street. You know, African Americans, but We're all separated on the same street.
Mm. 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 Mm.
Well, it's all about getting people out to do what they're supposed to do with their civic duty, and being able to try to change things through your vote. If you don't vote, you don't matter. If you don't vote, you don't count. And so it just has to be some type of understanding in our community that you must participate. We got to be able to participate. We're not great participants in the process, and that's what we got to do.
Well, let me ask y'all this, and let me ask you all this. We all have friends who are pastors or public leaders or CEOs, executive directors, whatever. To what extent do we go to the person that we know? For example, hey, Chandra, you're running for city council. You said this, you were wrong. And do it in front of people. I'll never forget. I was, and this is a story you all know. I was a vice president of a neighborhood association. There was a number of people in the room who knew that this whole fiasco of getting me out of the VP position was wrong, but sat there and watched it happen. But behind the scenes came to me and said, that was wrong. We've got to stop doing that and not calling people out, but holding people responsible too. So to what extent do we go to these people and say what you're saying and what you're doing or what you're presenting is wrong and hurtful?
Well, it starts with us. You have to have people with balls to do those things. You can't think that something will happen if you just sit back and be quiet. It starts with us. What we're doing on this platform every day and every week and every month, we are making a difference. People might not see it, but we are. You can't make those people who are used to sitting back and just letting things happen. They're just programmed to do that. So we have to keep striking the rock. Just keep striking the rock. We from what we do, it will make a difference. What you was about to say, Jamal?
Right. With regards to that it does starts with us. We have to be the ones. You have to call out the hypocrisy, and that at times we shy away from that because we all want to get along. We just want to get along, and so we don't say anything. So we just sit there, and we don't want to upset that person. I tell folks, guess what? If you are honest, if that person is an honest person, they can accept if you go and tell them that they're wrong. But if they are not, and they get all offended, then you got to begin questioning that person, and that doesn't matter. And I'm going to say this goes for a whole list of issues that I see with people being leaders. And let y'all know, I'm just joining the show right now because I've been dealing with people who are supposed to be leaders that can't even logically follow some things. And I'm like, and I had 3 phone calls before even coming on this show, and I'm like saying, this is why we're in the condition that we're in right now. But leadership. And so I'm going to twist it and throw it into something else, that what some people have written and said, the way that we function right now is tied to this mentality, because I call it political groupieism, or we gravitate, and it's not just politics. We gravitate to people that we think that has some proximity to power or some proximity to fame or notoriety. So we just want to be around them. We want to be shoulder to shoulder with them. We gravitate to that. And you know where that comes from? That comes from out of the time of captivity, when our ancestors were basically powerless. And so that's why they have these mentality, what they call the house Negro. But let me just say, the house Negro is also a field Negro mentality also. Don't get it twisted that they were independent. The field Negro also was the same, wanted to be around power. So the field Negro also all go and oppress people. The house Negro will go and oppress people. So all of that right there is tied to captivity and us being afraid to finally stand up to power when it is wrong. Us wanting to get along. And so we get caught up into that. And that's why it becomes so important for people to be independent with regards to, stand up for what's right. Because that's what I tell folks. If you are a religious person or a spiritual person, when you see wrong, you're supposed to stand up against the wrong. You ain't supposed to just codify. You ain't supposed to pamper it or baby it. Because that wrong right there is going to grow up into something that's going to be hideous. That's going to be a Hitler type mentality. It's going to be a Trump type mentality. But when we just let it slide and just go along, then you see the oppression. That goes from you on an individual basis to not a communal basis that even larger. And so that's why I say anytime you see injustice, you got to stand up and speak out and fight against it, as opposed to just like babying and pampering it, because it's going to turn back around and hit you. And so you then got to say, I got to take that Negro mentality of captivity out my head and not be a human being. And that's why I tell folks, when you understand your humanity, your Africanity, you stand up and speak out. But when you don't, guess what? You let it slide. And so I'm going to just end on this note right here. That's why somebody like Bernard Brown will get upset that I decided to look out for the people at Tompkins and sponsor their event, their alumni picnic. He got upset that me from HVJ decided to do that.
Well, you got a few events this week that we need to talk about also, Robert. I don't know why Robert didn't do it, but
what's that?
You got a few events. You got Tuesday. I believe you got Black Man Lab. Black men have something to say about this election. It's at the St. Philip Monumental AME Church. Y'all make sure that y'all are there this Tuesday. This Tuesday, make sure that y'all are there. Then you have the same time, a few blocks apart, only a few blocks apart. You have the Afro-Colombian Land and Protection Legacy, and what that is, Jamal. This is one of your preserves.
Yes, and this, in fact, this is the international event that we're putting on. You have 3 sisters coming from Colombia, Afro-Colombians, and they are Maroons, so that y'all know about the Maroon legacy. They fought for independence, and right now in Colombia, the lands that are owned by Maroons have been codified, that is now protected, and they are able to control their land. And so something I have long talked about for decades, about that we need to protect our lands from North Carolina down to Florida, so that way people just can't come and build these 4-story high rises next to people, to your mom and your daddy and your grandparents, and so that we begin to protect. And so we're going to have this conversation. It is, you have to RSVP at Eventbrite. We only allow 50 people to be able to come in. And in fact, Miley Davis, who's putting on the Black Men Lab, he's going to come by at 6 o'clock. And when he saw it, he said, man, Jamal, this is powerful. And so that's why I tell folks, with me, a lot of times, like I said, I ain't about all this talking. It's about making action. So we bringing people together who are now coming from Colombia, from North Carolina, and they're going to be here in Savannah. We're going to talk about land. We're going to talk about reparations. That's what we're going to be discussing with them, and then have that conversation, show that when some of us speaking about this ain't no foreign stuff. That's why I said about leadership. When you follow propaganda, you think you can achieve. But when you know your humanity, you know what you can do. So that's 6 to 8 p.m.
And one of the great things is, even when, and going back to what Sandra and Robert, I was telling you, it starts with us, because had it not been for people like Frances Bright Johnson, who's getting a road named after her, these people paved the way for what we're doing. They paved the way for what we're doing. They're on the September 23rd. They're going to be having a dedication for the road that will be in her name. So we're doing those things because of people who came before us. The Martin Luther Kings, the Ralph Abernathy's, the Hosea Williams, the Piccolos, the Frances Bright Johnsons, and all the freedom fighters here in Savannah. We're able to do those things because of people like that. So the greatest school on earth is having an event. So y'all need, and Jamal's a sponsor of it. So y'all need to make sure that y'all get to that also on the 28th of this month. I don't know, Robert, you thinking Windsor Forest, and Sandra thinking Savannah High, but yeah, the greatest school.
I'm aligned with Savannah High today.
All 4 of us went to 4 different schools, and the greatest school, y'all do know, is where it all started at. Oh,
Beach at Alfred Eli Beach.
And I'm also the king of AE Beach High School, and on September 21st, that's when they have their picnic, and I'll be right there for their picnic, and I'm walk through there and let them know this is my domain. I made it possible for them to have that picnic on the 21st of September. Beach and Tompkins are indebted to me forever and ever. Amen.
Okay.
Well, I want to speak to the last topic because I didn't get a turn, but I don't need, what I call them is secret lovers, you know, and I don't need no secret lovers, you know, and
oh yeah,
you know, you have to call them out.
yeah.
And when you know that somebody, you know, just like on Facebook, I have over 2,500 people on my Facebook, right? And I'll put a post up or bring awareness to something, or I'll just put a post up. And most people, you know, if it's just talking about BS, they're on it. They're on it. But when I'm bringing awareness to something that really, really matters, you know, it's crickets. They don't want to. And sometimes I'll even tag them, you know. I mean, if it's really important, I'll even tag, but they don't even want to comment. And see, that's how, and some of them will call you and say, well, why you tag me in it? Well, did you read it? Did you read it? You know, if they don't want to be your support out front, out loud, tell them F you on the back end.
Yeah, and just because you tagged it don't mean that you agree with it. You just somebody tag you so you can
all I want you to do is read it, you know. And I had some girl somebody that I considered an actual friend, you know, but see, she's one of them shady ass people, you know, that she own, you know, she want to be she's a secret lover, you know.
Okay. All right. Well,
you know
you don't have to call all your friends out, son. You know what?
I mean,
I done told you, starting in matter of fact, get your show ready for the 5th Monday, which is the 30th.
I'll be here.
Get your show ready for the 30th.
I will be here. I will be here.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Get your show ready for the 30th, because I know the person that we got. It's supposed to be youth Monday, but we're not going to do Youth Monday on the 30th. We'll wait till the December, because it's 5 Mondays in December. The 5th Monday, we're going to put you in that spot since you got so much to say. And you little
the show called This Is What I Think.
Yeah, This Is What I Think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you guys tune in, because y'all want to know what I think.
Well, you and I have.
You'll never forget it.
You and I have a talk after this program about that first, though.
Oh, okay. Well, he's about to censor me, y'all. Never mind.
You got to be censored until December.
Never mind.
Until November 6th. November 6th, you can say what you want to say. The December show, go off on anybody you want. We don't have a problem with that, do we, Jamal?
Oh, I already figured y'all out. Y'all not secret lovers too.
I'm celibate.
Listen. We don't have a problem with
these are the 2 worst people that you can have on your team.
We have to be able to protect. We have to protect the brand. We can't let one person spoil the brand.
Whatever.
That's like McDonald's.
It's okay.
Letting the clown go in and slap little kids. They got to fire the clown. They got to protect the brand.
It's okay, guys. Yeah. I've already done what I needed to do on that situation.
Yeah, well, you're right. Leave it be, and then do what you got to do. You got something else to say? Like, you got to say so much about all this. September 30th. This is what I think.
All right, secret lovers.
Yeah. So, anything else that you have on this? Robert had to step away. He had a 1:30 appointment. We can finish this out if y'all got time. We're not going to go any longer than 30 minutes. But if you have stuff to talk about, if not, then we it's all according. I know Jamal got to go plant watermelons.
Jamal, I think that I need you over here, man, because I've been trying to plant my garden, and all I was able to get is some okra, but all the rest of my stuff did not. It didn't grow, and I've been trying to grow some collard greens, but they're not growing.
This is the time to do collard greens now. It's the fall. Do the fall, plant now.
So
And in fact, the 20th and the 21st are said to be one of the best days to begin planting for your fall crops. So yeah, so plant your collard greens now. Yeah.
Okay.
They can't take the heat per se.
They can't take the heat. Okay.
The heat. The kale and all that kale, broccoli, cabbage. This is the time right now. You can begin doing that.
Okay.
Rutabagas, mustards, all that.
I need to. It's a lot of stuff that I'm gonna send you those videos too, where you can plant. I've learned some new planting techniques, so I'm gonna send you those videos also, Chandra.
Please, because I was so proud of me when I was cutting off my okra. Hey, but are the okra plants, are they gonna stay alive or are they gonna die? This was my first time.
Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to let y'all know somebody else who's tied to our black media who does an excellent job. Dr. Ferrante Frazier. Ferrante has about 3 gardens. I went to one of his gardens last week. He got okra that is 7 feet tall. 7 feet tall. He says his okra stays going until December. So, and again, what he does with the hay and all that. So, yeah, I'm like saying, yeah, so it will continue until a major frost comes, but yeah, otherwise than that, yeah.
Okay.
Now for some people, okra didn't do well because of the heat. Even though okra like heat, but then when it's now that 110 heat index, and it's consistent, that now even the soil that is even too hot for the soil. So, and that's tied to something else. Politically, we talk about this. People talk about climate change like it's not real. I tell folks, no, climate change is real. No matter what we want to say. No matter what we want to say, but yeah, so your okra, just let it keep churning. Let it keep churning, and that's like I say, Ferrante does an excellent job. I went over there, I'm like looking like, 7 feet high, and he got a bunch of it too.
Jamal, one of the people that need to be in the field with you is Cozy, because Cozy want a war and she want to fight and everything. She got to be able to feed herself. She got to be able to plant and feed herself if she want a revolution. She has to be able to feed herself. She don't even know how to plant okra or corn. What you think she's gonna do?
So,
yeah.
Cozy need an underground room and everything.
Yeah.
I see her with a gun and everything in an underground room with some cans and no can opener.
Yeah. We're going to get out of here.
Well, I just want to throw this out here because this is a conversation even with Ferrante I had with him, and I've shared this with other people, that you got to understand that food is used as a weapon. Food is used as a weapon, and water is used as a weapon. And in these communities, these urban communities, Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, Savannah, Macon, and y'all want to get beside yourselves, guess what? If they shut down your food source and your water source, you can't do nothing.
You don't.
And that's what, but look at our communities. Look at that. That's why we put it out there. All right, that's why it becomes crucial for us to, again, having some of our things, going to Julius Hall thing, that we have our institutions in place. That, again, Chandra McKeithen, we have our institutions in place for us. So if something happens, we can still fight, still thrive. But otherwise than that, they shut it down. They mess up your water. They mess up your food. You can't do nothing.
Yep.
All right.
All right, guys. It was good seeing y'all. I'll see y'all Wednesday.
All right. Talk with y'all later. Watch the rest of the shows. Pastor Small at 6 o'clock today, and Bernard Brown, I think, at 9 o'clock tonight. We got also Grover Thornton at 7:30. So we got 3 shows after this today: 6, 7:30, and at 9. Y'all stay tuned. Watch. What you say, Jamal?
The King of Tompkins. I'm so glad that I sponsored the Tompkins Alumni Picnic. Beach High, I'll be right there walking through, have on my HBJ gear, and let everybody know it's because of me. Bam. Thank you.
like this. I like this.